Thank you everyone for joining today's virtual fitness session. Give me a second. Stay fit while you sit. I would like to introduce you all to today's speaker, Lisa Farley. Prior to becoming a certified integrative nutrition health coach and yoga instructor, Lisa spent 12 plus years in sales and marketing at technology companies in the financial services industry, including Accenture, Siebel Systems, and Thomas Reuters. Before pursuing her passion in health and wellness, she was a fitness instructor and personal trainer in college and went on to attend the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, where she was trained in holistic nutrition education to coach clients around making food choices that are best suited for them, in addition to all aspects of health and well-being from stress management, sleep, resilience, and movement. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to nutrition and well-being, and she studied a variety of practical lifestyle coaching methods, including completing the science of well-being at Yale University. In addition, Lisa completed the Pure Yoga 200-hour training program at Equinox. During, drawing on this knowledge, she will help you create a completely personalized roadmap to help that suits your unique organization and individual body lifestyle preferences and goals. Take it away, Lisa.
Thank you. Well, I'm going to share my screen so everyone can see it. How's everyone doing today?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good.
And we all sit too much, don't we? So we're going to talk about everything we can do to counterbalance all the sitting that we do. And I've got a PowerPoint presentation
What
that
is it?
to share with you. And
This
we'll
is
send
what?
it over. Nancy will send this over to you after the session so that you can use it as a reference guide. And so what do we see when we look at this picture here? What is she doing correctly? A couple of things.
It looks like her back is sitting straight up.
Exactly. She's got that good posture, but she also has a clutter-free desk. She has a nice plant. She's got, natural light. All these are positive things. And not all of us, like I work from home and I also go on site to companies or, sometimes and I have one-on-one clients, but my desk actually faces a window because we don't want light on our computer because obviously then we can't see, but we want to try to get natural light too. So that's an important part of while we're working. So that is something, to keep in mind when we look at everything. And you hit on all the high notes. So thank you for that wonderful introduction. I what the field of integrative nutrition and the field of positive psychology is there about cultivating well-being.
This is about
And
her.
what does that look
Oh,
like? And this is what we all want in our life. And the good news is we get to define it for ourselves. So the simplest way to define well-being, it means that we are healthy, we're happy, and we're successful. And we know that without our health, we don't have anything. Health is our most important thing. But of course, we also want to be happy and be successful, how whatever that looks like for us. But we need to have a strong foundation for that. And we get that foundation through, providing meaning and purpose to us. And that comes through the work that we do. It comes from all the people in our lives, all the relationships that we have, as well as are the hobbies and the interests and the things that we like to do outside of work. But the reality is, right, we have lots of commitments and responsibilities with our life when it comes to our work and our families. And we're all trying to do our very best to strike that balance with our work, our own interests, our family, our friends, just bringing that into, a nice perspective. But the reality is, I mean, like my grandparents actually grew up on a farm. So it was my great grandparents that ran the farm. I mean, think about, that was 4 generations back, but think about how people's lives were so different then. They spent the bulk of their day outside and they were all very physically active. We're all spending the bulk of our day inside and we're sitting in front of a computer. So we want to do what we can to counterbalance that because I'm sure have you all heard that, sitting's the new smoking? And it is, we need to keep our body active and strong and healthy and fit, and we're going to go through each aspect of what that looks like, to do. And the first thing is posture. And we don't think about that, but the reason posture is so important is because of the spine is our lifeline. The spine is the most important, because the brain is communicating everything to the body through the spine. And then the body communicates back to the brain through the spine. And so the spine is incredibly important in that perspective, and we need to have good spinal health. And it starts with good posture. But there's a lot of things that go into having good spinal health. We need to move our spine. And so the spine needs to bend forwards and backwards. The spine has to go side to side. The spine has to have twisting because that mobility into the spine is going to help with the bones and the cushion. We know the discs between our the bones and so all of to keep that good mobility. But then also to protect our spine, we need to have a strong core. And it's not just our abdominal muscles, it's also our back muscles. So it's the back and the front, those strong core muscles, protect our spine. But because we sit all day and we have a lot of packaged processed food, we what do we see with this? So especially as people get older, we see, most people end up having a little belly or having a big belly. And that when we, unfortunately though, when we don't have a strong core, it's not protecting our spine. But then we also need to be flexible. And I don't know about you, this is what got me into yoga. My chiropractor literally was begging me. He said, "Lisa, your hips and your hamstrings are so tight. I'm begging you, you've got to start stretching. Something like get a stretching routine, do Pilates, yoga, something." And I started practicing yoga and I fell in love with it because he was right. My hips and hamstrings were incredibly tight and it changed my life. Tight hips and how do we get tight hips and hamstrings? From everything. Walking, running, cycling, spinning, exercising, sitting, everything tightens our hips and our hamstrings. And so that not only helps with our spine, but even our knees. A lot of knee trouble is because of tight hamstrings. And it makes a big difference, to have that mobility. And then we need to take care of our body with regular care. I'm a big believer in seeing, luckily, my grandparents went to chiropractors. I've seen chiropractors my whole life. I'm grateful for that. I'm a big fan of physical therapy when you need it, getting regular massage, getting acupuncture, using a foam roller. How many of you have foam rollers? We've got to protect our body. And it's important that we, it's not even just protecting our body, but protecting the spine, that is so crucial, to have, good health. But most of us don't sit right in front of our computer or with our phone. What does everybody do? Who wants to show me? Because I'm sure you see it all the time. Everyone is doing what? Well, two things actually. So you've got a good chance of getting it right. But most people tend to round over. But you see the rounded shoulders, the rounded back, the head down. And do you remember from the movie, oh gosh, what was the movie with Tom Cruise and Renee Zellweger, where he was the sports marketing guy? What was that movie? Do any of you remember?
Oh,
He was anyway, if the little boy, he's in the back of the car and he's like, the human head weighs 8 pounds. And what we don't realize is that our head, the skull, and the brain are heavy. And so when we round forward like this, we're putting all this undue pressure on our neck and on our upper back. And that's going to reverberate down to the middle back and the lower back when we do that. Now, the other thing that we do in our chair is, and with our phone, it's not only that rounding forward, but I call it just dumping out. We just dump out in the chair, and then we tilt the pelvis forward, and we, the low back and the middle back really take a hit. So the best way to have good posture, and we're going to get right to that to the next slide, but by not, and think about it, if we work 8 hours a day in front of a computer, and we don't have good posture, it's going to affect our neck, our shoulders, we're going to have, potentially muscular skeletal disorders, stress, low back pain. And the other thing with carpal tunnel, the key thing about carpal tunnel is relax when you type. Don't like tense up and pound, 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 relax. Just let it flow. And it's when we tense up, that's when it causes more, more issues. So that's a big thing that helps with that. But okay. We'll get to the posture, sorry, for the next one. But then the other issue is sitting for long periods. So it actually shows, the science shows that most human beings can be productive in 60 to 90-minute intervals. And then every 60 to 90 minutes, we want to take somewhere between a 5 and a 20-minute break. And the big thing I always do is I drink a lot of water. I hope you do too. So I always have water. And so you're going to have to get up and go to the bathroom. So you're going to get up and go to the bathroom. Maybe you're going to text someone, or, you just go get more water, so every 60 to 90 minutes, we want to make sure we're getting up. And I'm going to go through stretching exercises that we can do in front of our desk. That's really important. But we know the big thing, you hear about this a lot, where people, if they travel on planes a lot, especially flying internationally, with blood circulation, with our legs and in our feet. But, just we decrease circulation when we sit without getting up and moving around. And of course, this can affect our metabolism with so much sitting, which is why we need to counterbalance of it. How many of you track how many steps you get per day? Do you track that on your phone? Oh, it's really easy. I only know because I have an iPhone, and it shows you on the iPhone. I'm sure Androids do too, but it's right under the health tab on your phone. It'll tell you how many steps you get. We should be getting between 5,000 to 10,000 steps a day. So we want to make sure that we just get up and get movement. And plus, when we sit too long, not only is it not good for our circulation, but we actually compress the spine with too much sitting, which limits mobility. And it can just lead to stress, stress in the body, tension, injuries. And none of us want to have any type of bulging disc or spine injury. It's, neck pain, back pain, it's the worst. Any of you have neck pain or back pain? Oh, okay, good. Yeah, because that's what got me going to the chiropractor in the first place. It's actually very common. I have one leg longer than the other. And if you've got one leg longer than the other, it actually tilts the pelvis slightly. And so with the pelvis tilted, then the spine curves. So I have a slight curvature in my spine. And that's what got me to seeing chiropractors. But it's been a blessing because, knock on wood, I've remained pain-free. So between regular chiropractic care and yoga, I've kept myself in really good health in that regard. So we want to make sure, and with lots of walking. So this is how we have proper posture. But where does it start? It starts with the pelvis. So with the pelvis, on the base of the pelvis, we have these two sit bones. And if you've taken yoga class, they always say find your sit bones. So in your chair with your pelvis, you're just gonna, you can rock back and forth, and you're gonna find those sit bones. Because when you sit up on your sit bones, you get the pelvis in the right position. Then you see we have a natural S curve to our spine, and you're going to get that natural S curve to your spine. And so we want our head to where our ears are right over our shoulders, and our shoulders are right over our hips. And what happens when we do that too, our chest opens up. We're going to breathe better. We're going to get more oxygen in, and that's the most important nutrient to every cell in our body. And so we want to make sure we have good posture, because and then you also want to keep your feet flat on the floor and knees over ankles. So this is all set up here with the right posture, because this is what, So if you're leaning forward, I mean, look at the difference. I mean, you can just see the, well, first of all, with the pelvis, right? So the pelvis shifts, the spine is completely out of alignment, lost the S curve to the spine. Now that heavy human head is leaning forward, and then this is what, causes issues with the neck, the upper back, the middle back, and you can see all that, and then it's going to reverberate right down into the low back. And there's no support for the natural curve of the lumbar spine. So this is what we don't want to be doing. And even when we're driving, so it's like when you're driving, when you're, commuting, when you're sitting, when you're on the couch, when you're eating, this is what we want to, think about with proper posture. But and this is how we want to work with the proper posture. And it's the same with standing and sitting. Again, head, ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. And if you stand, it's hips over knees, knees over ankles. It's like we're kind of stacking. You almost want to think of a string. So that string is pulling you from the top of your head, like straightening you up. And then when you sit in front of your computer, the shoulders should be relaxed down, elbows at your side at almost a 90-degree angle, not quite, but almost. And then the keyboard is such that your arms are just extended forward. And I'll show you a big problem that we do have a slide coming up that a lot of people do. And then our monitor is at eye level and it's right where your hand can touch the screen. So this is, and at that setup with the keyboard and the monitor, it's the same if you stand versus sit. It doesn't matter, it's the same. And for a lot of us, and especially laptops can be really difficult to get. That's why you see that rounding, and I've got a slide so that you can see it. But you can easily adjust a laptop to make it work, but you need a couple of things to help you do that. Do you use laptops or do you have desktop computers with your work?
Laptops.
Laptop, yeah, same. I mean, what most of us use is laptops. So let's take a look at how, what that worked. But first, also look at the difference between the standing posture too. And it just makes a huge difference, and especially as we age, because see, our muscles kind of, if we don't have the proper posture and bone structure, then the muscles get weak and they don't support, and it just gets worse as we get older. But the really key thing here is you want to engage the core. And even when we're sitting, we want to engage our core muscles. So right now, I mean, I'm not leaning back in my chair. That's why if you see the ball chairs, the whole idea of the ball chairs, you sit on the ball, you're not leaning back, you're engaging your core while you work. So that's just a simple thing, is to engage, and you want to engage your core when you stand and you walk. And that's why the whole purpose of yoga too, with every posture that we do in yoga, it's all about maintaining the spine integrity and engaging the core. And one of the best ways to maintain spinal integrity is to engage the core. But if you've ever taken a barre class, or if you've ever ballet, of course, or Pilates, it's all the same principle. So yeah, barre, Pilates, ballet, yoga, it's all the same. The posture, maintaining the spinal integrity, and engaging our core. And if you carry that with you of how you sit, how you walk, how you stand when you're exercising, this is a really important thing, to keep in mind. And just getting a good visual, it makes such a big difference. And I see, it's like, and especially just, practicing yoga as long as I have, I always see, especially young people have the worst posture. Have you noticed that? Like adolescents, and they're all hunched over their phones, and I just want to go like this. And especially you see people, especially, younger kids on the subway, and you just always want to, to kind of push their forehead back and say, please, please. Oh, let's see. Someone put in the chat here. Oh, Melissa, when you try and stand straight and sit straight throughout the work. Oh, your lower back tends to hurt. Excellent. Thank you for bringing
Then
that up.
and then what I tend to end up doing sometimes is to like kind of relieve like pain there a little bit. It's not more like a pain, but it's like, like when your muscles are tired sometimes. And it's
Yes.
just like, so it's like I kind of tend to like hunch over like this sometimes to just try to relieve that a little bit.
So a couple of things, and thank you for bringing that up. That's an excellent point. Is that here? So see how the chair. So in with the so some chairs that have that are going to support the natural curve in your spine. So two things you can do. So if you have a chair that does that, like, and I'm sorry, I'm not at my desk chair. I'm actually at my dining room table here. But my desk chair, if it doesn't have that, you can buy the back pillow, and they're really inexpensive. And you just slide that back pillow, and then that way you can relax back, and that will relieve that. And then the other thing is that it also means of work on strengthening your core and work on your flexibility. And we're going to go through stretches, and I'm going to show you a stretch that's going to help alleviate that with the low back. But it's the hip and hamstring flexibility and the core strength that really helps protect the low back. But so those are, yeah, a couple of things that are, but that was an excellent point to make. And of course, right, we don't want to stay rigid with we want to change our position often. I mean, that's why every 60 to 90 minutes, we definitely want to be getting up and moving around. And because, right, our eyes and our body just need a break every 60 to 90 minutes. I don't know about you. It's not good if we find ourselves 2 and 3 and 4 hours and it's like, oh my gosh, I just got so busy with my work, I haven't gotten up. That's not a good thing either. We want to make sure, that we're getting up and, getting outside, taking a break, and getting a walk in is the best. And I love this time of year. It's like the best, to get out and get a walk. Well, when it's not raining, the last 4 days were pretty bad. But yes, the pillow, yeah, those pillows are really good. And they're good for driving too, because most cars don't support the proper posture and the lumbar. In fact, most cars are geared that dumping back where the pelvis tilts. So most cars, in fact, you can adjust your chair, but you need that back pillow in your car. That really does make a difference. So you can just take it with you, work and then in your car, and they're really lightweight. They're great. I got mine originally at the chiropractor's office. Most of them sell them, but like I say, you can just get it online now, which makes it really easy to do. And then, we just want, and what I showed you with that front picture, keep our desk clean and organized, put some plants on your desk, make your little workspace. I mean, we spend a lot of time at our desk and we want to just personalize it a little bit, maybe some pictures, but it should be inviting, whatever that means for you. To have that good inviting space. And of course, we want to be organized and have all the supplies we need, making sure, because, like I always make sure I have enough ink, enough paper, that, all these things, that I need to do so I don't feel, stressed about that, because we want to alleviate stress as much as possible. And that's why eliminating clutter is an important thing to keep, clean and organized. But here's the laptop. Now, the ideal scenario is that we get the, separate keyboard, separate monitor, which you see in the picture below. She's got that, she's got her laptop, but she does have, the separate, but that doesn't work for all of us. And so, we definitely need to, it's up to, up to all of us, but I'm going to show you another solution that actually works well too. I would recommend investing in the wireless keyboard, and I'll show you, or just a separate keyboard, that you can, as opposed to or the monitor. Just choose one or the other, because you can actually make it work with one or the other. You don't need both, but I mean, look at the top scenario. That's what most of us do with our laptop. I mean, his shoulders and elbows and hands are correct, but obviously he's got that leaning forward to look down at the laptop screen. And the big thing with the laptop is to not work in bed or on the couch. We just can't get the proper ergonomic, setup on in bed or in the couch. It just doesn't work, but they do. So here, this device is pretty inexpensive, but what's the first thing? What do we see that's wrong here? Her elbows and wrists, right? She's up as opposed to being down. And so, but these little things are great. I mean, but the monitor's right. So all she needs here is just the separate keyboard. And those are pretty inexpensive. That's why I say that the keyboards are cheaper than the monitor. And so what I would do is, invest in getting this and getting the separate keyboard. I mean, that's kind of the ideal, but she's got the right, and she's got great posture. Her monitor's at the right level, but she's just got, and so what happens, because what do we do? If we do this, what do we tend to do? We tend to hike our shoulders up and then everything is tense, as opposed to shoulders down and relaxed, elbows at our sides, arms out front. This is a much more, and we're going to increase our risk of carpal tunnel if we do this, if we're up like this. And so, and like this is where I have to be, because I have longer legs and I'm shorter waisted. And so for me, that's what it's like, oh, but like right now my desk is perfect. But if I were to type on my laptop right now, look, I'm like this, but my monitor's right. And so, but when I boost my chair up, then I'm leaning down. And that's why I say the laptop doesn't work. And so with my desk, I have the pull-out drawer with the wireless keyboard. Because again, I'm short-waisted. So for me, what works is actually just my laptop on my desk. And then I have the pull-out, my desk has the pull-out drawer with the separate keyboard. And it works perfectly. So you might, each and every one of us, our bodies are all different. Some people have shorter legs and a longer torso. So we have to kind of adjust, based on how our body design is too. And so that's definitely a good thing, to kind of keep in mind. Now, this is a big deal. And believe it or not, the doctors now have a diagnostic code for text neck. They are seeing this is a chiropractor's dream. I mean, in terms of it's booming their business, right? With all of these, and I mean, it does look like you're taking a picture, but who cares, Take your phone up. It's like just lift it up and text this way. I mean, look at the difference, when your phone is up versus down. And again, because I mean, look at the way she's got her phone, the neck, look at the upper back. Doesn't it even just look painful? And the middle back and again, this is going to reverberate down to our low back when we do this. And if we do this over days, over weeks, over months, over years, or a decade, this is going to create a spinal nightmare down the road, and this is what we want to avoid. And so it's just important to, just take your phone up. And that makes a huge difference, when we affect the way we work. And I'm a big believer, go see a chiropractor. What is the state of your spinal health? They're going to x-ray you, they're going to take a look, and they're going to see, and they can even help you, give you the, like I say, it was my chiropractor. I'm very grateful to him. His office is still not far from where I live. He's the one that urged me to start stretching, and it helped alleviate all the pain, changed my life getting into yoga. And I'm very grateful that he really pushed me, to do it, because we want to focus on prevention. I mean, it's a saying, a pound of prevention is worth more than the cure. I mean, it's just like, we want to, be proactive, and we should know the state of our spinal health. And this is why also, as women, especially as we get older, we want to make sure that we get bone density scans too at some point, to know how our bone health is. And it's a really important thing, to kind of know where things are. But and so, okay, good, we're halfway through. So I want for the next part of it. So what can we do while we work? And there are great core exercises that you can do at your desk. Now, do you want me to show them to you, or do you want to do them with me? because I can just show them and then you can do them on your own, but we are going to all go through the stretching exercises. So what do you think? Do you want me to show you the core or do you want to do them with me? Or do you want to just all go through the stretching exercises? Well, I'll show you because they're really actually pretty simple. So just what you do. So these are the 4 really good core exercises. So remember, every 60 to 90 minutes, we need to take a break. And so that means that you can just do a set of these, just do 10 or as many, of any one of these. And so what you want to do is I'm going to scoot my chair back. And so you're going to sit at the edge of your chair. So at the edge, remember, proper ears, shoulders, hips, hands on my side of my chair. And to pull both, hold on, I think I need to go back a little bit more. To pull both knees, you're going to lean back. And so I'm engaging my core. And you're literally just leaning back, pulling both of your knees into your chest. And trust me, it's a lot harder than it looks. So remember, I'm holding the side of my chair. I'm on the edge of my chair. I'm engaging my core. I'm going to use my elbows. I'm going to lean back, extend both of my legs forward, pull both knees in, lengthen, pull in, lengthen. And so that's just a really simple one. Then now to get in the obliques, to get a twist in. So now we're just going to pull our knees in and we're going to twist. So again, so hold the side of your chair. You're going to lean back. And these are just as hard. I mean, they're hard. Legs straight, twist, side to side. Just get that kind of twist in, and this really, and you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it throughout your entire core. So that's a really good one. And then the simple one, because if you're lying on your back, you know how you lie on your back and you're just going to lift your legs up and down to get the lower abdominals? Well, we can do that in our chair. So we simply just lean back, legs are straight. You can't see me, but I'm just lifting my legs up and down. And so my legs are, together and pointed, So now when you do this, you're going to engage the muscles in your legs. You're going to engage your core. You're going to lean back and lift and lower, and you're going to really feel that. And then the other one, and this is just the picture here, same thing. So she's on the edge of her seat and you're going to pull one knee in, one knee out. And so you're leaning back, pull a knee in, and then straighten that leg, point it. Oops, my chair is like, not work, and then just one knee and alternate. But these are just great core, and you can get this amazing core workout just taking little breaks throughout your day and just do one at a time, and they're really simple. You can even go on, I love YouTube. Go on YouTube, it's free. They actually have tons of videos of good core exercises that you can do right in your chair. And these are the top 4, but there's a couple more, that you can do. So these are all really, really good to be able to do, because we've got to keep our core strong. And whenever you do, you're always working your back too. So you're going to feel that with your back muscles as well. And that's what's really important to be able to do. But now, hang on, I'm going to stop sharing so we're going to all just do some stretching exercises. Oh, right there. So the simple thing is we can get, we want to get that spine mobility, and we want to do that in our chair, which is really good. So we're going to start just by, again, you're going to sit back into your chair, shoulders, have the right posture. So find those sit bones, so sit on those sit bones. And make sure, that our ears are over our shoulders, over our hips, feet flat on the floor, your knees are over your ankles. And we're just going to start with our neck. So our neck just gets lots of stress. You can close your eyes, drop your chin to your shoulder, and just feel your head and your spine stays nice and straight and tall. Your core is engaged. And then we're just going to do some slow, controlled, easy neck rolls by going around to the right, ear toward the shoulder, up and back, and just feel yourself, just feel that letting go, ear to the left, coming back to the center, and then rotating in the opposite direction toward the left. And this just always, because I don't know about you, my neck and shoulders just tend to take the brunt. And then chin to shoulder, and then coming back up. Feels good, right? Just nice and easy. And now we're going to get some side bending. And an easy way to do that, and whenever, so the whole thing also about yoga is the breath, using the breath. We breathe in and out of the nose, slow and controlled. And a great way to just side bend, I'm going to bring my arms up and I'm going to hook my wrist. So you'll see it. So inhale the arms up, hook your right wrist, exhale, twist, stretch to your left. Keep both hips down. So we're stretching over, nice, and you're going to feel that. It feels so good. Breathe in and out of the nose, right? Inhale, exhale. Good. Inhale up center, hook your left wrist, exhale, twist right. Keeping the hips down. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Good. Inhale up and exhale down. Now our shoulders get really tight and just, we want to loosen those up. So, just round them both forward, take them, rotate it back, get that good shoulder mobility. And then a good thing to do is just inhale out, exhale, hug right over, and then squeeze and hold. Inhale, exhale. Good. Inhale, open up. Exhale, left over, and then hug and squeeze down. Inhale, exhale, and now we're going to do eagle arms. Now this time, inhale, release up, and then on your exhale, swing your right arm under your left arm and try to get your palms together. That's where we were. I know, right? This is where we get tight, because that mobility, this is for shoulder mobility and the upper back muscles. And then see if you can inhale your elbows up, exhale, pull down, squeeze and hold. And this is the hard one, right? And just keep breathing, just do your best. Inhale, exhale, then let's release it. Inhale up. And then this time, exhale, swing your left arm under your right. Now this is where I get tighter. My right shoulder is tighter. So again, you're working toward getting those fingertips together. And then inhale, lift up. Exhale, pull down. Good. And then you're going to feel that, and you're squeezing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Inhale up and exhale, release. Nice. And now we're going to get some more spinal mobility. Are you familiar with the cat-cow stretch in yoga when you're on all fours? Because you can do it in your chair, which is really good. So we're going to be kind of rounding the spine. Now for this one, I'm going to sit on the edge of my chair here. So again, both sit bones down, knees over ankles, and you're going to interlace your fingers, because you're going to inhale up first. Okay. Now exhale, round, pull your navel in. Now inhale, lift up. Now arch, look up. Good. Exhale, round. Good. Inhale up, arch the spine, look up, and exhale, round. One more. This is like, I love this, a cat and cow. Inhale up and exhale, round. Good. And then come to center. Now, my favorite is just folding forward. And this is what's going to release your low back that you asked, Melissa. It feels so good. So see here, now I'm on the edge. And so what you're going to do is I'm going to fold forward, and I'm going to hug opposite here. Oh, here we are. Hug opposite elbows. So you can see, and then you're going to fold forward, drop your head, and now knees are over ankles, feet are flat, and then just truly release. So you're going to feel this release from your head, your neck, your upper back, your middle back, your lower back, and it feels really good to get that release. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Good, and inhale, coming back up. So that should feel, did you feel that? To get that release in the low back. And then lastly, we're going to twist. So remember, the spine needs to go side to side. It needs to go forward and back, which is what we've done. And now we need to twist. And so I prefer to sit back in my chair for the twist. And you're going to either hug, we're going to start with the right side. You can hug your chair, hold the side of your chair, and you're going to inhale your left arm up. You're going to exhale, hold the right side of your chair. Now the twist it's the center of the spine. You're going to twist out toward the right and then look chin toward the shoulder all the way back. So we're getting it now, we're twisting from the base of our neck, and you're going to feel that. And when we twist, we actually wring out tension in our low back. Inhale, exhale. Good. Inhale, come to center. Exhale, hold the left side of your chair. Inhale, the right arm up, and then exhale, turn and twist toward the left and looking back just as far as you comfortably can. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Good. And inhale, come back to center. Doesn't that feel good? You just wring out that tension, and just simple things. You can do these in any sequence but just relieving that tension. And then lastly, our hips, because our hips get tight. And of course, in yoga, we do the pigeon pose, which is the best. And I remember, my gosh, when I first started yoga, I would cry in that pose. It hurt so bad because I had the tightest hips ever. But then when you start actually on your back, it's called a reclined like pigeon or a reclined figure four. But you can do that figure four in your chair. So my left foot is down, the left knee is over the ankle. I'm going to flex my right foot. So I'm going to flex that, and it's ankle to knee. So my right ankle, oops, here it's, there we go. There. Of course, nice. Working from home, I love it. I'm barefoot. It's the best. It's so comfortable. And so my ankle is flexed, and then you work on pushing that knee out. And it takes time. Like when I first started, my knee was up here because I did not have the mobility in my hips. And so while you're working, and again, both hips are down. And so both hips are down, you're working on that hip mobility in with your joint. And trust me, I don't want a hip replacement. I'm sure you probably don't want a hip replacement, right? And so if we don't keep that mobility in our, throughout our hips, that can lead us down the road to a hip replacement. And so what we do, and now to take it even further, just inhale, sit tall, and exhale, hinge at your hips, fold forward, let your head go. And just feel your head relax, your hands, your arms relax. And you're going to really feel this in that right hip. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Good. Inhale, come up. Exhale, right foot down. Inhale, left foot up. Flex your foot and work on pressing. And each side's different. Like my left is a little tighter. That's why everything in yoga is balance. What you do on one side, you do on the other side, and you're working on, bringing that balance in. And, but the interesting thing too, I know yoga teachers that have also had hip replacements because they do too much. The pendulum is in the middle, it's like if we don't do any hip mobility, that's not good. But if we do too much, that's not good either. And so it's everything in life is the middle road, when it comes to, and that's an important thing to keep in mind too. And always listen to your body, because your body is different than my body. And even no matter what fitness class or anything you go to, whatever the teacher says, you do what you can do, that's like, we're all different. You listen to your body. Don't let somebody, that's why spinning was not for me, because I went to a spin class and I had the teacher in my face yelling at me, and I was like, back off, like I'm going to do me. It's like my body. Like, I don't like that. So, but some people do. Some people love that motivation, but I just I listen to my own body. And I think, and that's important. And when I first started taking yoga, I went in the back corner of the class. I sat through half of it, didn't know what I was doing. And I've been practicing for years. It just takes time with anything. Serena Williams did not pick up a tennis racket and slam 100-mile-an-hour serve, right away. I mean, it was years and years of practice. And that's the whole point. And then so sit tall and then fold forward, relax, and you're going to really feel, the stretch into your left hip. And that's exactly what we're working towards, to get that release, because like I say, everything tightens our hips, unfortunately. I mean, and then take it up and then down. And it truly does. And I honestly, it relieved all my pain by, relieving my tight hips and my tight hamstrings. So I highly recommend. And we just, all this sitting, we get really, really tight. And then I'm going to go back to sharing. So whatever, but like I say, maybe you like different classes. And I don't know if anybody, if you're familiar with Peloton, this is Kristen McGee. She teaches on Peloton. She's a yoga teacher on Peloton. But she also wrote a book on chair yoga. And this is just a link if you're interested. And here's, again, I love YouTube. It's free. There are tons of like chair yoga sequences or chair stretching sequences on YouTube. So I highly recommend, I'm all about free resources, and there's amazing yoga instructors on YouTube. There's amazing Pilates instructors on YouTube. So I highly recommend, checking out YouTube. But, so we did shoulder rolls, we did neck stretches, we did the cat and cow, we did our chair twist. Now we didn't do wrist stretching, but the simple way to do that is you hold your arm out straight and you pull your fingertips back and then you shake them the other way. So you're just stretching the muscles here underneath. And then even just shaking your wrists out or doing wrist rolls, are good. And that's why cat and cow is really good when you're on all fours. It's good to strengthen throughout the wrists. That's also like why down dog is such a great pose, because downward dog really strengthens the wrist. And you'd be surprised when a lot of people, I know when I started, our wrists aren't very strong. And when you first start yoga, that's usually a big complaint. People are worried, you've got to strengthen the wrist to get that posture. And it's important to have our wrists need to be strong. It's like everything. We need to be strong and flexible. It's not, and that's why it's finding that balance between strength and flexibility and not overdoing one or the other. That's really important. We did the side stretching. You can do, a seated tricep stretch, where you pull opposite elbows back. We did our shoulder stretching. Yeah, it does feel good because when you pull the elbow back and you're going to feel that in your tricep, and you're going to, sit tall, get good breathing in. We did the forward fold. We did the back bend with the cat and cow, where you're back bending to open the chest. Now I like to hug my, arms under my legs and hold opposite elbows, but you can just keep your, release your hands down on like this to just really let go. And this is great for the low back, but honestly, the whole spine. And then we did the hip stretch. So we did the hip stretch and the folding forward. And these are just great stretching exercises. But honestly, like I say, we all sit in front of our computer all day. We just need to move more. One of the best exercises is just walking. It's the best way to relieve stress. It's so good for, your body and your mind. And I highly recommend good daily walking. And interestingly, someone who walks a ton, and this has nothing to do with like the pandemic or politics or anything, but so Dr. Anthony Fauci lives in Washington, D.C., and that's where I'm from, and he lives near where my sister lives. He and his wife walk every day. He retired at 82 years old. I don't know about you, but how many people his age do you see vibrant and working the incredible hours because he just retired this year at 82, right? And I mean, but he and his wife walk every day. I mean, that's their thing. And that's and it's just walking is just one of those you can do your entire life. It's only going to benefit you, and just getting a good daily walking habit. Now, someone I love to follow on LinkedIn, his name is Dan Go. Have any of you heard of Dan Go on LinkedIn? He's a personal trainer, and he works with, business people, saying like, if you want to perform well at work, you got to take care of your body. but he stresses walking all the time. And it's fact, you can go, if you just subscribe to his, he sends out daily or every other day emails, but they're great, filled with amazing information. And again, it's free. And I love that, it's like good free information. But yeah, Dan Go. And he says too, we've got to get that 5,000 to 10,000 steps a day and really move. But then we need regular exercise. We need to keep our muscles strong. We need to keep our muscles flexible. We need that cardiovascular endurance training with interval training. And here's the thing, like, I'm a big fan of protecting my joints. I am not a jogger. Everyone I know that jogs or runs, they end up at the doctor with either something, knees, hips, whatever, nope, not me. So what do I do instead? I love, well, walking, but I love cycling. That's why cycling is so great. It's why I love the rowing machine. Even, walking on the treadmill if the weather's bad. Using the stair machine. I love the, like the big rotating stair machine, because you're just not going to put that on your joints. And so, at least for me, that's what I'm all about, protecting my joints. And so, but we do need cardiovascular endurance training, along with, and walking is the best fat burning. It really is. It's called low intensity steady state. And that's how we burn more fat. So it's another interesting thing too. But it's like, it's finding that balance, because you and I, because I live in the city and I see all these older people with canes and walkers. Well, the only reason they need canes and walkers is because they didn't keep their muscles strong, and our muscles, that's what supports our skeleton. And that's why, like, so Dr. Fauci is 82 and he doesn't need a walker or a cane or anything because he keeps his muscles strong. And I don't know about you, I want to be just as active, when it's like, I want good longevity and to be active. So we've got to keep our body strong in order to do that. That's important. But we've got to drink water. There's no reason throughout. The only things I ever drink are water. I have 1 cup of coffee a day after breakfast. I have 1 tea a day after lunch. And then healthy alcohol consumption is to have a cocktail after dinner, whatever that is, and that's all we should ever drink, water, a coffee or tea, and 1 cocktail per day. Like my grandfather had a scotch like he had one neat scotch neat after dinner, and it's like he lived to be, but he had one, and it's like, remember, it's balance. And so, but there's no reason to ever drink anything else. It's like just having, and drink. So you want to wake up, drink a glass of water, eat breakfast, have your cup of coffee or tea, drink lots of water, eat lunch, have your 2nd cup of coffee or tea, and then you should no more coffee or tea after that, because believe it or not, too much caffeine, it affects your nervous system, and it just does, even though we think it doesn't, but it does. Then drink lots of water, eat dinner, enjoy one glass of wine, 1 beer, one, and that's it, and then that's like all we should have. And there's no reason to drink anything else. And that's the key, to kind of keep it simple. But then stress. So here's the reality. We all know stuff comes up every day. Stuff happens every single day. And we're all making mountains out of molehills. We are sweating the small stuff, and we've got to find a way to let it roll off our back. Right? Because stress is good for us in 2 ways. If we are walking on the path and we see a bear, that stress response kicks in, and you're going to get the adrenaline and the cortisol to get away from the bear. And then the other thing stress serves us is if we have a deadline. Like, think of somebody who's, I don't know, someone out of law school, they have to pass the bar. You're going to use that stress response because you have that deadline, get that energy, because right, we get the surge of energy with that stress response. Get your bar exam done. Then don't use it anymore, right? No more then. But it's like, what are we doing though? We're sitting in traffic. We're producing that same stress response if it's a bear or a bar exam, and we're just sitting in our car. We're not burning off that energy, and it's affecting our body biochemically in a lot of ways. And so, we need to, instead of, whatever it is, if the train's not running or, whatever it is, we have to let it roll off our back. And what I do to let it roll off my back is going to be different than you. We all need daily strategies. We need to manage our time well. This is a big thing. Good time management, focus, productivity, get all the work done. So then we have time to do the things we want to do. So that's an important part. And I don't know about you, the bane of our existence is email, right? I mean, it's like we have stuff we need to get done, but then the email keeps coming and that to-do list keeps growing, right? And so my big thing is that so 3 to 4 times a day, that's when I'm just going to power through, get my email done, but then turn it off and do, because you've got data to put in systems, you've got documents that you need to work on, meetings to go to, calls to make, whatever it is. We just literally, because we know we could sit in front of our computer and honestly send and receive email all day and do nothing else, because we know the more we send, the more we get. I mean, it's just sort of like, so it's not an effective, so that's where and same thing, like we're like Pavlovian dogs, that text message comes in and we're like, whoo, we go right to the phone, it's like, but we can't do that with every email, every text message, every phone call. We've got to give ourselves blocks of time where we get through the text messages, the email, the phone calls, return, and then get our other work done. Otherwise, we're just always in the weeds. And so that's an important part, is just don't be a slave to email. Get through our email, but don't be a slave to it. And it can be easier said than done, I know. But now I'm going to teach you. So, and we're right at time. I'm so sorry. But the last thing I was going to teach you, and we're actually, pretty good, but I wanted to leave more time for questions, is that what happens when we're in stress, like the deadline, our breath becomes short, shallow, quick, erratic. How do we get ourselves out of the stress response immediately? Make the breath smooth, deep, long, and even. I'm going to teach you what's called box breathing. So nice posture, relax back in your chair, close your eyes, and we're just going to be breathing in and out of our nose. So you're going to start by exhaling everything out through your nose, and then inhale for 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. And open your eyes. So that just takes a minute. It's a round of box breathing. We inhale 5 seconds. We exhale for 5 seconds. We repeat that 5 times. It takes just a minute. And you get out of your head. You feel much more relaxed. Whatever it was that was irritating us, you just let it go. And because we're just making things up, it's just our head. And we've got to find ways to get out of our head. So whether you exercise, whether you garden, whether you walk, whatever, you have a dog, laugh, watch something fun, whatever it is, every day we just have to let things go. That's what's really important. But yeah, questions, I know we're right at time, but anyone have any questions, comments, feedback before?
I
Anything useful that you want to take away? Yeah.
didn't have any questions per se, but I like the box breathing at the end.
I know
Yeah,
it's
very
nice, right? Yeah, end on a
and I
nice
also
relaxing note.
and I also like the comments about engaging the core so much. So critical that core is, even when you're walking, as
Yes.
bipedal or standing up straight. That makes such a difference. If you're standing up straight, you can feel your back straight and you're engaging the core. You can feel it right then and there. It goes such a long way in terms of even preventing lower back issues. Just walking.
Yeah, and that's why it's ballet. I mean, it's like Pilates, ballet, bar, yoga. It's all the same philosophy. Protect the spine, engage the core, and take it from there.
I had a question, just also like another thing I thought about as well, like sometimes when I do try to do like floor workouts and stuff like that, like my lower back, like especially I don't know if it's something like if I try to do like a sit up or something, like how you say like to sit and try to like balance, like if I was to try to do that on the floor, I don't know if it's because the floor is such a hard surface. So it's like my tailbone, it kind of, I don't know. I don't know what I don't know how to explain it. Like it's just like I can't,
Yeah, it
it's
could
like
be shooting
it's a
pain or a
discomfort
dull
to work
pain.
to do it.
Yeah, I know
And
exactly.
I'm
So
like, I think about like getting like, like putting a cushion, but then it's like, it defeats the purpose of, to me, it may defeat the purpose of the workout because, I know it's supposed, some of them you have to be on a flat surface in order to do it, but I don't know.
yeah, we use you so you can be on carpeting, but even I have, like, I'll show you here, my mat is actually right. I have it right over here, but I just have a thicker, I have more cushion on my
Okay.
mat, which I
Yeah.
like. But then the best way so child's pose really alleviates the low back, and so does folding forward. So just a standing forward fold and child's pose alleviate that with low back.
Okay,
I
thank you.
just really wanted to thank you for the breath techniques. It really
Oh,
allowed to remind myself to center myself. Lisa, I'm Renee. I apologize. And I really appreciated, you sharing some breath techniques. Thank you.
no, you're welcome, because we forget about the power of the breath. The
Yeah.
breath is our life force. I mean, it's the first thing we look for when a baby is born. And it's the last thing we look for when someone passes away. Our
Oh,
breath is our essence.
yes.
And we get so busy with our day and life and we forget to breathe, and we get so in our head.
Ah,
Again, we just forget to breathe,
to
you know?
breathe. Oh, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah.
And not only is it relaxing, I mean, engaging that vagus nerve, but it's also detoxifying, cleansing breath, when you're even giving birth, they're saying, take that cleansing breath. And it's so critical.
But that's
I
why,
love that
and yoga
cleansing
taught me
breath.
how to breathe. And you use that with all your exercise, and it's about expanding our lung capacity to be able to take in more air,
Yes,
and get the most out of each breath. So true.
thank you.
Mhm.
The whole presentation, though, was very lovely, and the
Oh, good.
information in regards to the spinal, I screenshot some of them. So I look forward to the email with the PDF files, the
Hmm.
PowerPoint, if you do send it. But I
Yes.
really, I believe that, that's one thing that we're not always cognitive of. So thank
Hmm.
you for bringing that to the attention.
You're welcome. Thank you for your feedback.
Mhm. Very nice. Great, great presentation. And it's always a great refresher to continuously remember, because you sit at that desk and you just, but this is a wake up call to always keep remembering.
Yes, thank you, Lisa. And if anybody doesn't have any more questions, I want to thank everybody for joining today's session. And I hope you all have
And enjoy fall. I love fall.
yes.
I know.
Thank you so much.
Thank
So
you,
sweet.
Media.
All right, you're
Thank you.
welcome. Take care. Bye, everyone.